What's up, guys, and welcome back to game number 2 in this best of 2 set between CNB Esports and Top5. This is going to be from the Join Dota League Season 3 Division 1 America. And, well, right now the score currently stands 1-0 in favor of CNB. Here on HeflaTV 2, I'm going to be one of your casters. I'm Mike Loris, and still I'm joined by Grandis V.
Yeah, I don't know. Not much more to say there. The game one, it was Top5 putting a lot of pressure on their faces Void to land good Chronospheres, and he didn't get enough. He needed, at the end, to catch at least 3 heroes and focus them all down with Battle Fury Cleave. I don't know, there were just too many hexes coming his way. I think that CNB had 3 at the end of that game, and he was just locked down. His BKB wasn't long enough duration. Honestly, he needed like a 20-second BKB to actually carry through most of those team fights.
If only you could get one of those, right? Get that 7-slotted Void, and would have been pretty nice for him, but unfortunately that's not the way this game works. We're going to go into another draft, though, as we see CNB going to pick up a Razor. Was first banned in the last phase, and Top5, it looks like they don't want to go up against the Faceless Void. They're going to ban that one out, and they pick up a Skywrath Mage and possibly a Doom as their first 2 picks. Will give them a lot of nice silences.
Yeah, I think that that's probably where they're going to handle, or angle their picks, rather. But yeah, there is still the possibility that we'll see another support coming up from Top5, but no, it's going to be something completely different in the Invoker for them. A hero that we didn't see last game, and I think it probably would have done more than the Mirana. I don't know, I think Mirana, especially if you play her as a support, just doesn't do enough if you don't have a solid setup in order to get those kills. And they didn't have that at the early portions, and after the first 10 or so minutes of the game, if Mirana isn't getting off to a really solid start as a support, she's going to fall off very hard.
Yeah, Mirana, by the time it was like 12 minutes in, she hit her level 6 mark, which is not where you want to be on any hero, let alone a Mirana. So, not going well for Top5, and they are going to go into a slightly different track as they do pick up that Invoker that you said. It's a pretty nice way to start off the draft, pretty versatile hero, and now they're going to be highly prioritizing those setup skills. Skywrath Mage doesn't exactly have any. Concussive Shot is okay for setting up Sunstrikes, but it's only okay. They need a couple more hard stuns. A Sand King or a Mirana, that's no longer what they're going to be interested in. Pretty much as they should not have been interested in last game, I would say.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be available in the pool when they pick it up, but Shadow Shaman would be ideal. Faceless Void, if they could get their hands on it, would have been wonderful, but it was banned out in the first stage by them. So it's not going to be an option. Tidehunter Centaur, the next band's focusing very heavily on the offlaner pool, which is actually kind of interesting. With the Nature's Prophet pick by CNB, I'm not sure they would have gone for the Tidehunter. But yeah, I think either Earthshaker or Shadow Shaman would be really solid for Top5.
Top5 should have kept the Tidehunter in and forced CNB to ban it out, or else Top5 pick it up themselves, because that would have been sweet for them having the Tidehunter. Instead, CNB, they go with the Nature's Prophet as their second pick. Was kind of questioning it last game, but after seeing game number 1, it's kind of understandable to see why CNB would pick up this hero again. Did so much work for them in game number 1. He was everywhere. He pushed the towers super early with the Enigma. Just having so many units on the front lines was huge. And, well, then they're going to try to go for that again. Why not? If it's not broken, don't fix it. Along with the Razor, they'll be able to push okay. Death Prophet, though, is banned out early on. And once again, we have the question of how much do CNB want to go into this pushing strategy?
I suppose so, but the pick for Top5 is going to be a Doom. It's still weird to see him prioritize so little in the draft as far as those bans are concerned. I would have expected him to be taken out. Honestly, I think Top5 could have left in both of the heroes that they banned out and at least secure that they get one of them, as that would have been really solid for them. But yeah, Doom is going to be good at pretty much countering every hero, although some are better than others. Razor, if he's built tanky, or if he gets the items up rather, and he has the Eye of the Storm already going, he doesn't care that much about being doomed. Nature's Prophet, on the other hand, if he's doomed, he's more or less just going to die.
And CNB, they're going to need to spread out the Doom targets or have some answer to the Doom, but as far as answers to the Doom are concerned, there aren't that many. I guess early on you could punch the fact that he has low armor and, you know, try to match him up against a heavy physical hero, but that's about it. There's not many ways you could stop the Doom because of that Devour and his survivability from Scorched Earth. So CNB, they're going to need to try to spread the focus on Doom targets and try not to put all their eggs into one basket. It is what Top5 did last game, but CNB, they're just going to go for the supports now, as both teams will look to pick up one more support. Skywrath Mage versus Earthshaker. There's still a whole bunch of supports in the pool right now. None of them really scream out to me, though.
Yeah. I think the Earthshaker has an element of being a ban pick as well from CNB. Earthshaker is pretty much always a pretty solid support. You can play him defensively, you can play him aggressively. There's hardly a time where Earthshaker is bad if you have a good Earthshaker player that's on point with their fissures. I don't think you can really go wrong. It would be better, obviously, if you were ranged, but still, it's not going to be poor. I think that top 5 would have used him a little bit better, though, with the Nature's Prophet summon-based push, as well as just setting up kills early game with the Scarth Mage. It would have been a really solid pick for them. However, they will pick up the Wraith King. With Earthshaker out of the pool, Wraith King is one of your better stunning supports available to you, and, I don't know, can transition into a bit of a semi-carry role later on. If he gets an early Blink Dagger and is snowballing off of those kills, it'll also give them a pretty easy time in the Roshan Pit with Invoker with his Force Spirits, as well as Wraith King and his Lifesteal. They can take it fairly early on.
Yeah, so Wraith King, Scarth Mage also going to work well together in lane, so they'll be able to nuke someone and burst them down within Scarth Mage's nuke combination. Whether that includes Mystic Flare or not, it really doesn't matter, since the damage from those two heroes is really intense. Also, it'll give them that setup stun that they really needed in order to set up a Sunstrike. So those heroes from top 5, even if they're not all going to be in lane, they're going to play very, very well with each other. The Wraith King also going to be a very nice hero at killing off the Nature's Prophet once he picks up his Blink Dagger. A blink into a Wraithfire Blast is very, very difficult for Nature's Prophet to avoid, unless he gets something like a Shadow Blade, which is very rarely seen nowadays. So top 5 will have a way of getting into the face of the Nature's Prophet. And once you get right into the Nature's Prophet's face, that's most likely when you get the kill. CNB, they still need their support, and they still do need one more core. So after this Earthshaker, not really too sure what they're going to be going for. I don't think a Rubik's going to be fantastic for them, although he does have some synergy with the Razor. What do you think, supports?
Rubik is probably one of the better ones left in the pool. There's just not a lot instead. They go for the IO here. A lot of global presence coming up from the Nature's Prophet as well as the Wisp. They'll be able to pretty much bring a team out of nowhere if you just have 2 people pushing a lane. Usually that's just 2 people pushing a lane, but up against CNB this game, it could very well be all 5 of them. I think that they're going to just pair this with your Tiny as your more traditional hero to go along with that. But top 5 have a different thing in mind as they ban out the CK, which would have been a solid pick for them, as they have very little ways to deal with the illusions.
Well, I think as far as this game is concerned, there are games where you would see a Wisp and you automatically think Wisp Tiny. It's like what the best hero is. Tiny is going to always be great with the Wisp, but this game you could go for any number of things. Like, there's no real reason to pick up Tiny. Like, the burst potential against Wraith King and Doom is really difficult to get together, so you're not looking for that. Late game it's always going to be nice, but you could very easily go for like an Ursa in this game if you're a CNB. There's no real hero that's preventing you from going down that route, or they could even go for I don't know, a Juggernaut, which is okay. It's rarely seen, but they have potential to go for any number of Wisp combinations, seeing as though top 5, they are holding on to 2 melee heroes, and they don't really have anything that demands a Tiny.
I suppose so. I think if you're going to go for the Ursa, I don't see a compelling reason not to go for Riki, as they're kind of going to function in the same fashion. I don't know, mostly because they're not on the Dire side. Roshan's not as easily accessible, and I don't know, I think it would play very similarly, although Ursa does have that Roshan advantage. Let's see. Sven is also available, but I think Sven is just a more aggressive Tiny, and his burst is more focused into physical, which would be useful up against these fairly low armor heroes coming out from top 5.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to see what they want to pick up. I really hope it's not a Tiny. I'm getting a little bit tired of seeing Tiny paired with that Wisp. I would really much so like to see a different hero. I have seen the likes of Gyrocopter being paired with a Wisp, but I don't think this is one of those games. CNB, they're not going to look to play a super aggressive early game, so they don't really need to have that. And they don't need the AoE early game either, since top 5, they're also not going to be looking to play super aggressive in this early stage. So they could play this slow as top 5. They do go for the Bat Rider. I would have been okay with them picking up a Disruptor and sliding the Wraith King to core, but Bat Rider instead is going to offer them some pretty nice initiation. If they could hop in and drag the Nature's Prophet back and kill him off, even if you may have a relocate coming, you could very easily kill off a hero and then deal with the Wisp and his partner once they relocate in.
Yeah, top 5's team is very good about picking apart the team fights and isolating a single hero with the lasso, isolating a single hero with the Doom, and they will go for the tried and true Tiny. I think it's still fine. As you said, there's hardly ever a time where Wisp Tiny is bad if you've already picked up the IO. But yeah, I would have liked to see something a little bit more unconventional. Maybe just because I want to see something more unconventional, but I don't know. Tiny it is.
I blame Top 5 for this. They banned out the CK. That would have been pretty sweet.
It really
to watch.
would. I think CK is the best partner this game, to be honest, is pretty much everything from Top 5 is single target, and they have like no AoE to actually clear through those illusions. They have Firefly, but even then, they didn't have that to start off. They could drop a Meteor, but that's about it. Either way, back into the teams as we go into this game number 2 of the best of 2 series with CNB playing on the Radiant side, Ned handling the Nature's Prophet, and well, right now we do have Pada handling the Earthshaker. He's sitting up top. I think he's just going to block and then go help out down bottom with the Razor, who is going to be handled by King RD. Our mid lane is going to be a dual lane handled by 4DR on the Tiny as well as Baga on our IO or Wisp.
And on the Top 5, currently down 1-0. They're going to have Doom lead the charge. It is going to be, well, this guy's name. We're going to call him Bob because that's pretty easy. Fly is also going to be joining him as the Wraith King, whatever, on the Skywrath Mage. Mid lane, it is going to be NR Sevi on the Invoker, and Beyond is going to be on the Batrider. A little bit of a role swap-aroo in this game, as Fly and whatever are going to be supports for the Doom. That's a very awkward lane. Doom usually, like 9 times out of 10, is in a solo lane. Maybe in a dual lane with a Lich, but very rarely is he in a tri-lane.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a peculiar choice coming up from them. Maybe they're going to look to roam these supports very early on, and with boots first on the Wraith King as well as the Smoke and the Scarlet Mage, I think that is kind of the game plan coming up from them. Yeah, I think they're just going to start this Doom off in the tri-lane and then eventually dissolve it very quickly. Batrider can handle his lane 1v1 up against the Nature's Prophet fairly easily, and the Invoker, although he's not going to have the best time up against this dual lane coming out from the Tiny and Wisp, can also hold his own for the early levels, and, well, they might make, or look to make a kill happen in that mid lane as well.
So ultimately, Doom is going to be going up against the Razor as well as the Earthshaker. Really, you don't need anything else but the Razor in this particular lane. The Razor is going to pretty much run a train over Doom, and there's nothing that Doom could do about this. Up top, it'll be a fairly even lane. Bien is fully capable of getting kills on Ned, whereas Ned is not really capable of getting kills on that Batrider, so we're going to have to keep our eyes open for that. We do see a smoke attempt from Skywrath Mage as well as Wraith King, though that was dispelled on the Wraith King. Still whatever is smoked up, although it seems like King RD knows about this one. So he is going to play it safe for now. Pada's got to be the one who's in real trouble, but I don't know how much, as they do open up with a Wraithfire Blast. They have a concussive shot as well. Doom has a Shockwave, one of the more useful skills to steal, in fact, as they do throw Sunstrike wide. Pada's still on the run. I think they have enough to chase him down. They should have another Wraithfire Blast soon enough, although he's not claritying himself up. They have a Shockwave still. He's going to Shockwave, Hadouken, get the kill onto the Earthshaker. Doom finding a pretty nice creep there. It's one that he could actually use at a range.
Yeah, it is one of the better killing creeps, although it's going to more or less completely drain him mana. He will have a clarity to remedy that fact. The Unholy Aura is going to be useful up against this lane with the Razor, who's going to be harassing him fairly heavily if these supports ever decide to leave. So, yeah, a very useful creep for him. Although, usually you'd like to have something like a Centaur or Dark Troll. Beggars can't be choosers. The Doom's going to be happy with what he gets.
And they're looking to go in for round 2, perhaps. Got to keep my eyes on whatever and Fly, because the way these lanes are shaped up for top 5, their heroes are fairly independent. Like Invoker, Bat, and Doom all can solo lanes very well. So then where do these supports go? Well, for starters, finding a Haste Rune is pretty nice. However, it is spotted out by the CNB Observer Ward, so no one should get caught off guard here. Although Earthshaker is in a kind of a bad position, he will quickly retreat to a safer spot. Fly still with the Haste Rune, though. He could realistically go for the likes of the Razor. And now the Plasma Field down, he's going to jump in. There's the stun with the Sunstrike and a follow-up as well. Concussive Shot going to land on Pada, but I think the damage should be enough to kill off the Razor. It will be. Doom with his big sword will get another kill on this bottom lane. That's 1,000 gold for the Doom. If they want to go for a Midas this game, I think this is a little bit better.
Yeah, it really is. Again, it's kind of hard to pass up a Midas this early. Honestly, as far as last game is concerned, I think the Battle Fury was the part that I really didn't agree with. The Midas was fine, IMO, but yeah, I think this game it's going to be pretty similar, as I think Bob can afford to do it. He's going to get linked up by this Razor. Now the Fissure comes out. He's going to take a lot of damage. I don't think he falls here, but maybe they'll chase him down. The supports aren't inbound, and there's going to be enough damage. One more auto tech is all that they need. Will they find it under tower, however? The Doom is over at the side. He's juking through the trees. King RD wants this so bad. The Hadouken, and well, Razor's going to give up his life for this, but he does get the kill onto the Doom before falling. Doom didn't buy anything, and most of gold was reliable and didn't lose that much since his low level.
That's some serious greed from the Razor. I think when you get him
Yeah.
down that low, you can't not go for it. He did get the experience, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Now Bien up on top lane, being pressured back by Ned. I don't know what's Raffle worthy, but the Raffle is definitely there. I don't really know. Fly as well as whatever. They're spotted out by this Observer Ward, so they don't know about this, but they're definitely trying to keep the Wisp back, at least keep him from pulling. He has gotten 3 stacks on the hard camp and 0 on the medium, so the double pulling not exactly working out for them, but they're keeping the mid lane scared, as though Tiny is moving in. If he gets a toss on someone, a beautiful fissure onto whatever, this is going to be the death of the Scarith Mage for sure. That fissure
was
coming out from the side, it was really nice.
Perfect. Yeah, Pada finding a beautiful angle. There's not much more to say there. Scarlet Mage could go nowhere, and that vision setting up a pretty easy kill for them. And, well, I think it was the Tiny who picked that up. No, it was the Razor who got the last hit, which is unfortunate. I think they would have liked to get the Tiny, getting that little bit of farm, but Razor's not going to be sad about that at all. Yeah, this top matchup, it's going very well for Ned, 20-3 compared to the Batrider's 15-1. It's not awful for him, and actually gets hoof stomped up. There is 4 stacks of napalm on them, and the Batrider won't get this kill. Just be away. No flame break, I don't think, just yet for the Batrider, so nobody cancel out. The Wraith King as well as the Skyreth are inbound, and he cancels that TP.
He doesn't know that they're around, and now he does. This is a trap, Ned. Get out of there. Concussive Shot and Arcane Bolt should just be enough. They're going to throw the Wraithfire Blast, and he's still in the Sprout. He doesn't have a TP, though. He's not channeling it. He's going to be run down. No way for you to escape, Ned. One more attack. There it is. Skyreth Mage going to call off the Nature's Prophet. These roaming supports are top 5. I mean, we said that they had to roam pretty heavily, and they're doing their job very, very well. They've gotten 3 kills for the top 5 team so far, but mid lane, and Arcevi going to get hit with the toss. No Avalanche, however. There's the Avalanche. He's taking a lot of damage with the Cold Snap at a 4DR. Going to return some of it. The Wisp Balls will kill off the Invoker in the end, so a kill is a kill. Top 5, they lose their Invoker, but they also get the Wisp killed by the Dire. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, it really isn't. A little bit of extra gold for everybody, but not super significant, as the Wisp doesn't actually care that much. It is unfortunate they died. If he had his Wisp Spirits microed a little bit better and was swinging into the Invoker, that would have been a very much a faster kill for them. But still, killing the Invoker is what matters in that exchange, and the Tiny's going to be happy with that. Yeah, I'm not sure why the Sunstrike missed onto Ned in that kill that they went up top. He was inside the Sprout. I think Invoker was just trying to focus on his lane and trying to last hit, and maybe just expected him to keep on running. But yeah, wasn't necessary. They had enough damage, so it doesn't actually matter. They've rotated these supports throughout each of the lanes with varied amounts of success. These supports have been involved in 3 kills apiece and only died once between them. They've been doing a pretty good job. Yeah, Doom down in bottom. He's farming well up against the Razor, at least. Yeah, he's a little bit further behind, but after getting, or being involved in the first play as well as the Devour, that won't matter. But now with the TP in, he's going to be linked up with the Sprout going on as well. They're going to see a lot of damage from him. The TP's come out to try to save Bob, but he's going over to that juke spot again. Not going to save you this time, or, well, it might get them enough damage onto King RD. He is getting body blocked a little bit here. It won't be enough. It's Fly. He's going to eat a fissure, and he's taking a lot of damage from these creeps. The Plasma Field comes out. It's doing a lot to this Batrider. Batrider's going to fall. That's 3 kills across the map going away of CNB, whereas top 5 get nothing. Didn't see the Invoker dying, but I assume that was a pretty straightforward combo with the Tiny.
That Invoker death was actually pretty baller. The Tiny got the Avalanche and then tossed the Invoker backwards into the creep wave, so the creeps actually did a lot of damage to the Invoker as well. But hell, action all around the map, and I managed to catch most of it, I think. So 6-5, and CNB, they have the Nature's Prophet that did pretty much the exact same thing this game as he's doing last game. Off of those kills, the top 5 tried to defend a little bit too overeager. They're going to end up losing a tier 1 tower. CNB going to claim the first one of this game, and realistically they can keep going. Although, I don't see any reason to. Razor's holding on to 1,900 gold. That's almost a mech straight shot that he could get, and that's going to be huge. I don't think anyone else on CNB is going to want to get that, and with the mech available, they could fight very, very early on. Tiny has his burst combination, and as long as the Wisp has mana for the Tiny, then he'll be able to pretty much solo kill anyone he gets hands on, assuming they're in melee range.
Actually, it's going to be a mech on Ned, and it drums for the Razor instead. Well, Well, that actually rhymed too. I don't know, wins on multiple fronts. It is going to be the mechanism for our Nature's Prophet. It's going to help him a lot in these early skirmishes and takes the pressure off of the Razor to buying it. I'm not sure it actually matters that much. I think both of them are pretty solid carriers. 4DR is getting pretty huge in mid, however, sitting on 2,000 gold of his own. Not sure what build he's going to go for, but I assume it's just going to be a straight-up Midas. He's not going to be abusing these creep camps, as the Batrider is going to be the one to farm that up to get his own blink. After he gets these camps, it'll be very close for him. But yeah, I think you don't go for anything else. With the drums already on the Razor, no reason to go for that. And Midas, it's a little too late for that, I think. It wouldn't be the worst, but I think the Aghanim straight up is the best. Well, up top, we do get a stun going the way of Ned. Follow up from the Scarlet Mage, they slow him down. Sunstrike is going to be on the mark. It's split between a lot of the creeps, and, well, Ned's actually right-clicking very hard on to fly. Will he get this kill before he goes down? Looks like he will die, or will he? The Arcane Bolt one more auto attack is all that the Scarlet Mage needs, and that's all he's going to get. And, yeah, Scarlet Mage is going to be happy with that exchange. Nature's Prophet making the best out of a bad situation, I think. Probably could have just straight up died, but, you know.
While that was happening, again, more action other places around the map. Batrider tried to jack the stack because they have relocation up on top. They're going to go for whatever. Can they get the avalanche toss? They get the silence at a 40R, but that might end up killing off whatever, because now the toss is in range. There it is, onto the Wisp. The right-click damage from the Wisp plus the balls should be able to kill off whatever, assuming these balls actually hit. He's hiding in the trees, and he's going to be fine because the Wisp is gone. And now whatever's living at 9 HP, 40R might just lose this kill. Teleportation out from the Scarlet Mage, beautifully juked from him. Holy crap, that Scarlet Mage is so lucky to be alive.
I think more than anything, it was the ball control coming up from Baga that saved him, but Fissure potentially thrown in mid? No. Going to be held on to by Pata, and, well, good enough for him as Wraith King was inbound with the Wraith Fire Blast. But yeah, very close. Scarlet Mage surviving by the skin of his teeth. I think if the Wisp just kept the balls where they were, they would have hit, or if he microed them earlier, but he tried to correct them and then overcorrected, so where it missed with those last two. Those last two would have been a very easy secured kill, and then he left a Tiny kind of high and dry. Now they are going to be best buddies forever, as they're now tethered up again. They find the Batrider, they look for the Avalanche, they're going to find it, now the toss, oh, that's a dead bat.
I don't know how you toss something that's flying, but Tiny finds a way. Getting a kill on the Batrider at least going to result in a kill for this duo. It's 2-0-2 for the Tiny, and now they're going to go for the top lane push. They still have that level 4 toss, which does do damage to buildings, and with the Nature's Prophet providing the bodies, they're going to take this one pretty easily. Top 5, unwilling or unable to defend. But crucially, I want to say before, Batrider, he died near the Radiant hard camp. He stole all the stacks there, but he did end up going down for it. Still, just denying that gold to the CNB side is very useful. Tiny is getting a lot of farm elsewhere there, so he's not going to mind too much. They're not completely reliant on those stacks, but just making these plays from top 5, going to try to keep them in the game, but getting picked off like that. Batrider's 0-3-0. It's 11 minutes in, he doesn't have his Blink Dagger. It's about, you should have a Blink Dagger at this point with a Batrider, and Tiny has a full Aghanims. Wow, I did not realize he was farming that well. Okay, he's loaded.
Yeah, with 63 last hits, as well as being 2-0-2, 40R is loaded, and he's going to have the complete axe, and oh no, they're going to find the Batrider again. Avalanche, nothing doing there. The Flame Break comes through, but doesn't do anything, because Razor gets picked off in mid. They'll be able to burst him down. Doom wasn't spent there, and wasn't necessary. The silence coming out from Scarlet Mage was enough to get the burst damage with 4 heroes there. But yeah, this Tiny is going to be a force to be reckoned with this game. As with an Aghanim Scepter already completed, usually that's not the scariest of items on Tiny by itself, but it's going to accelerate his farm at a ridiculous rate.
And they're going to very easily race this push from top 5. This tower is going to be brought down. Support is incoming in the Doom, who does still have his ultimate, and he will throw it onto Baga. That's a very dead Wisp, but 4DR is really the one you have to be scared of. They're going to stun him, and they're going to lasso him in the fire. This is going to be a dead Tiny as well as a dead Wisp, although Baga, it looks like he will go down. Tiny's actually going to turn this one around. Somehow he's still alive. Going to get stunned again. Wisp does go down in the back end. Toss onto whatever. Won't kill him off. Wrath of Nature already used and won't get any kills, but they will go for mid lane. Sevi is caught out. A lot of damage stolen out from him. He's going to try to invoke something useful, but only ends up with an ice wall. Not going to cut it there. Ultimately, CNB, they get 2 towers as Tiny took the top one. Razor took the mid one. It's 11-9, and CNB in firm control of this game.
Yeah, despite losing the Tiny, they're still going to be happy with how the trade went around the map, and now putting some pressure on this tier 2. Yeah, they're going to be looking pretty good. Batrider does now have his Blink Dagger after not dying in that last engagement, as well as being involved in a kill. He's going to be pretty happy with that, and actually got the kill. So yeah, finally we're going to see BN actually be able to do something, but with just the Blink Dagger, it's nice to get the lasso initiations off, but it's not enough, I feel. Let's see. we are going to have the Glyph coming out from mid, and they're going to secure the deny on this tower. We do have a concussive shot going the way of King RD, as well as a cold snap. He silenced up. Nice fissure coming out from the Earthshaker. Will delay things and secure the kill on the Skywrath Mage at the same time. King RD is going to be thrown up by a Wraithfire Blast, but here comes to relocate. They just need to get out of here. They're looking for an avalanche on anybody. Somebody. Oh, Sevi. They find him out with the balls, but they don't throw the avalanche. Just the toss, and that's going to be enough. They also get the tier 2 tower. Nature's Prophet gets the last hit. And still, CNB completely in control of this game.
They take 2 and they're looking for more. They're going to catch Bien with the static link, though the avalanche not being tossed out. If they avalanche, that could have been a very easy kill on the Batrider. I don't really know why 4DR was holding on to that for so long. He also had the toss, so that was a free kill, like a silver platter kill. But he didn't want to go for it. Oh, now it's going to benefit him because he's going to run straight into whatever. Avalanche toss, easy kills, 100-0. Just like that. Skywrath Mage is going to be in the wrong neighborhood at the wrong time, and now the bottom lane tier 2 tower is in a little bit of trouble. Still the Razor's poking over at mid, but he's fairly low on HP. There's a bottle charge for the Wisp, but he will use that on the Razor. It will get him pretty full back up to HP, and now Batrider can initiate onto 4DR. There's the lasso pulling him back. There's no damage going towards him. King RD is in fact taking most of it as the Fissure get hit onto 3. Sunstrike will get split between Pata as well as King RD. They already brought down 1 in the Wraith King. That should be it. They're going to back off, and it looks like everyone is actually going to survive off of that initiation. Bien wants back in, but 4DR is more than okay with doing that. King RD still pretty healthy, and really, top 5, they're struggling to make any openings happen. Ned's going to teleport in, just enough mana to get that mech up for his team, bring everyone back up to nearly full. It's all the tier 2 towers down for top 5, and now CNB, I think it might be Roshan time. Maybe wait for a little bit more mana, but soon enough, it will be Roshan time.
Yeah, and well, soon enough, it's also going to be a really big item for 4DR. He's sitting on 2,500 gold. It's going to be a Hyperstone for him. He's going to be swinging that tree very hard, and they're going to use it to take down this Roshan. The Batrider, one of the best heroes around the Roshan pit. Without a lasso for 30 seconds, that's going to be enough time for them to do this uncontested, and they will do so.
And Baga also found himself a regen rune. A beautiful rune to have if you are a Wisp. Almost as good as a regen rune on a Storm Spirit, but it's going to keep Tiny at literally full HP while he duels against Roshan. They're going to bring in Ned as well, whereas Razor is going to be running interference. But 4DR, with that regeneration rune, is going to be sitting pretty versus the Roshan, and this is going to be the Aegis for them. Are CNB going to push the high ground, though? They have 1,000 gold before Razor gets his Aghanims. I think that is definitely an item worth waiting for. Also, by the time that comes up, Nature's Prophet should have a level 3 book. So CNB, though they do have the Aegis, I think they should wait for a little bit.
Yeah. And, well, if they find any stacks or steal some Ancients from the enemy team, they might even have the Assault Cuirass before actually going high ground. But they're not going to wait, or at least put some pressure before actually committing. I think you do wait for those items, though. I think it's just too big of a jump in power to really pass that up. Level 3 Necrobook pales the other two Necrobooks in comparison. I don't know, it's just so strong. But they'll get the tier 2 tower without any contention, so maybe they don't even need that. They go for the range barracks instead for the melee, and they're not going to fully commit now, but I don't know, top 5, they need to do something. Their barracks are falling, and, well, the Batrider's here. He has the blink, potentially looking for a lasso, but with an Aegis, the Tiny doesn't actually care, and they find the Doom in the front lines. Avalanche comes through, as well as the Sprout and Fissure. Icewall's going to keep 4DR to arm's length for now. No BKB on him, and he's continuing to walk through it. He's going to lose his Aegis, but I think he'll survive. They're going to Doom with the Wisp. That's actually a good target to Doom, is without his buddy, the Tiny doesn't do very much, but they'll lose the Doom in return. Wraith King is going to lose his Reincarnate, and now they're pulling 4DR back in the tier 4 towers. They should be able to get 4DR, especially with the Cold Snap. Looks like he is going to fall, and he's just too deep into enemy lines. They will lose their Tiny, but it looks like they might lose their melee barracks. They don't have an Aghanim Scepter on the Razor. It is coming out in the Courier Sunstrike. King RG is going to walk through it, but he gets healed up by the mechanism, and with the tether, that's going to do a lot. Now Enter Sevi caught inside the Sprout. Enter Sevi's going to die. Echo Slam solo onto the Batrider. Now follow up with the Enchanted, and they'll get that kill and fly. Probably don't want to die for that one, King RD. Just go for the melee barracks, and, well, he'll get it before taking up the melee barracks. So it's going to work out for him. I think there's very little that top 5 can actually do, and they're just going to call GG now.
Yeah, it's a pre-20-minute Raxing, and most of the time that just ends up in your team straight up losing. Top 5, they just get alpha struck. There's no other way to put it. CNB, they got the Aegis, they had all the tier 2 towers. Their advantage would have been a little bit better should they have waited for those items, but they felt comfortable enough with just going for it. The Wisp even getting doomed could have pulled the Tiny out of there. Didn't matter. The Tiny was so tanky, took so much of top 5's attention, and crucially at the last moment, Bien as the Batrider did not get the initiation until super, super late into that fight. So top 5, they could have made a defense, I think, if they had all the pieces, correct pieces in the right places, but they just didn't. And that's going to mean that CNB are going to take the series 2-0. And it looks like, guys, that should be the end of the HeflaTV production for today, at least for the American day. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit that follow button. HeflaTV2 as well as HeflaTV1 and HeflaMoke are where you're going to find all of the English channels. And yeah, if you want to follow us a little bit more in depth, it's going to be Twitter and YouTube.com/HeflaTV. All the VODs will be on YouTube.com/HeflaMoke. If you're on the stream, then it's all up in the top corners of the screen, as well as down below if you just scroll down. As for your casters, I'm Mike Loris. He's been GrandisV. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to follow us, then it's at Mike Loris, at GrandisV on Twitter. And that should be it. I don't know if Grandis is still with me, but if you are, do you have anything else to say?
Not really. It was a pretty straightforward series for CNB. Game 1 looked pretty close, and I thought Top 5 would have a better show in Game 2, but very convincing coming out from them. The Tiny got ridiculously farm, as did most of our other heroes, and Top 5 just didn't have anything to compete with it. But yeah, that's going to sum up more often than not, you're going to find us on HeflaTV, and that's going to sum up the broadcast for today.
Alright guys, see you next broadcast. GG. Gonna play my soundboard GG.
GG!